Hey everyone, it's Alex of Coyote Astrology. Welcome back to my channel. This is my new moon in Pisces video for the Pisces new moon on February 23rd, 2020. But before we get into the charts, I have a quick announcement. I am leaving for Australia in a couple of days here. I'm going to be over there for the full month of March, and I am facilitating a workshop at a gathering called Esoteric Festival. So if you're in this part of the world, do come and find me. As I understand it, I will be leading my workshop midday on Saturday. Really excited to geek out on astrology with some of you guys in person in such an awesome environment. And for my other viewers, as many of you know who've been watching me for a while, I've been fairly consistent on here for a couple of years now. And I just want to give you a little heads up that this might change. I'm going to be at the festival during the full moon, so I'm going to do my very best, but getting videos up on time and potentially getting that one up at all may be a bit of a challenge. But things will smooth out after that. I am still taking clients for the month of March. My consistency and my schedule is just going to be a little bit all over the place. But I'm not going anywhere. This channel is here to stay. Just a little bit of a heads up. Okay, guys, so let's jump in to this new moon chart for February 23rd. All right, so here's our beautiful mystical new moon in Pisces. They're at 4 degrees, right there with Mercury retrograde. But before we get to the Pisces, let's talk about this kind of massive elephant in the room over here, this Capricorn brigade. We had Mars move into Capricorn the same day that Mercury went retrograde. And if you didn't see that video, it's the one right before this one. We go really in depth into that transit and important dates that it can be helpful to know during that transit. But yeah, Mars moving into Capricorn has an extreme amount of Earth in this chart because we have Mars, the South Node, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn, and Earth is heavy. It's dense. It can feel like a mountain. There's lots to do. It brings in our commitments, our responsibilities, our goals, our careers. It brings in the blood, sweat, and tears of our life's mission. And when there's a lot of Earth, we're confronted with the here and now reality. There's no running from it. There's no denying it. We have to face it. We have to get to work. We have to bear down. And we do have to get used to this energy because Mars just entered Capricorn. It's going to get a lot more extreme in mid-March when it starts to make conjunctions to Jupiter and Pluto. It is go time. Mars is our drive, our acceleration. It's time to kick it into high gear. It's time to get serious and focused. But we do have this fire deficiency in this chart. The only fire that we have is Venus in Aries over there, and we'll get to her. We have Chiron, but that's not tremendously helpful. So we have a fire deficiency here. We have a lot of water with the new moon and Mercury and Neptune and Pisces, and we have a tremendous amount of Earth. So water is our emotions. And this Mercury retrograde has been promoting withdrawal and introspection. It has us questioning the vision for the long term. It has us questioning the future. It's kicking up a lot of emotional stuff from the bottom of the river here in this water element. And retrogrades can bring up the past. It can bring up patterns from the past, people from the past issues, or underlying things in our subconscious regarding how we feel about our future and what we're putting our energy into, what we're working towards. So this new moon is marrying the elements of earth and water. And there isn't a lot of energy, so it can feel like there's a lot to do and there's a lot on our plate, but for some reason we're not feeling maybe quite as enthusiastic or as positive as we maybe feel like we should be. It can feel kind of like trudging along and wondering how we're going to accomplish all of this stuff. And I think what this new moon is really asking is us to humbly surrender to this moment, this pause, during this retrograde and really sort things out internally. Because when you get earth and water together like this, these two clusters, these two elements, this is the marrying of matter and spirit, which is the divine equation for manifestation, right? It can't all be spirit and it can't all be matter. It's the combination of bringing the mystical into the physical. And there is a sextile between Neptune, which represents the higher spiritual plan, the higher ideal, the higher vision, and Jupiter in Capricorn, which represents our success and our achievement in our careers and our goals and our commitments. So these two are talking to one another and they're showing us a way, but there's something within the retrograde element of this water, there's something emotionally that is being brought up concerning the future and concerning how we feel about it. So this can be a moment where we ask ourselves, what is the reason that I'm doing all of this anyway? What are the parts of myself that need to be reorganized or cleansed or healed so that I can better show up in the long term? I keep getting this vision, remembering that a new moon is when we don't have the light of the moon in the sky. I keep getting this vision of this kind of night scene with this huge mountain of responsibility and this huge mountain of desire to achieve. And us kind of sitting by this stream that's going by this mountain and just taking a pause, the stream representing the stream of our consciousness of like, there is some stuff that I'm not feeling like quite sure about or quite ready for or a little uncalibrated, that I'm on this inner journey to figure out. And we're going to receive some clarity on that coming up, as I mentioned in my last video, because a couple days after this new moon, Mercury and the sun will join up and we can receive some clarification, possibly as a result of some introspection that we take during this new moon. There's a sense of self-protection around this chart. Capricorn has a lot of emotions, but they're buried very deep, and they're buried under work, and they're buried under worry and responsibility and hours of labor. And Pisces can have, it's the dreamer. It can have a little bit of a difficult time confronting certain things. So there is this sense of privacy and self-protection, a feeling of wanting to draw inward and go into this moment of solitude and darkness to offer some things to the water that we're ready to surrender, that we don't want to see later downstream. And I want to bring that up because this new moon is tied to a full moon at the beginning of September, September 1st, a full moon in Pisces. And when we have the harmonization of earth and water, this is soil for these seeds of manifestation. So we really want to release some things during this new moon. And I think really honor the ritual and the ceremony of this new moon in particular, so that in September we can see come to fruition the result of letting go some of these old stories or these tendencies or these things within the psyche that really limit us. And release any weaknesses for the long term. We do have Venus squared by Jupiter in this chart exact. And Venus is in Aries. When she's in Aries, she's impatient, she's earnest, she's eager, She wants to be herself. She wants freedom. Aries is about actualization of the ego. But Jupiter bearing down on her is saying, in the long term, it's not about these flimsy ego desires. It's not about your ego. Let the ego step aside. What is the mission really? And how does my spiritual self, how does my highest self align with my work? How is something within me keeping me from my highest ideal? Or this dreamlike reality that is available to me if I just get rid of some stuff first, or if I do a little bit of inner work. The other thing that this chart keeps bringing through for me is that the burdens of the world are found in the mind. That Capricorn mountain over there is a lot. And there's so much potential there. Having Mars enter this space, and when it goes to make conjunctions with Jupiter and Pluto in middle of March, that's going to be a time when a lot of you see massive success. So we're preparing for that now. We're coming into our emotional attunement required to really take advantage of that time to its fullest potential. And we do have Mars in square to Chiron during this new moon as well. So there is this healing element to the ego. We had Venus conjunct Chiron over the last couple of weeks. So this might be an issue that came up then that we're now going to have the drive to heal and mend. And with this trine to Uranus and Taurus, we're going to be approaching this in a new way. And I think that one way to do that is to really tap into the true reason why. Tapping into our true soul purpose, regardless of the wants and the needs of the ego, regardless of the confusion. What is the true purpose that I am doing this? And that is the exhaustless resource of energy, regardless of lack and fire in the chart. When we tap into that, we can do anything and we can get anything done, regardless of lack of sleep or feeling like we don't have enough time or wondering how the hell we're going to accomplish this. When we tap into that, that is the fuel that gets it done. And that's what's going to carry you through the transits over the next couple of weeks of just knowing what that mission is, letting go of the parts that aren't, being honest, brutally honest of like, this is a part of myself that needs to go now. I've seen it before. I know what it is. And now I'm aligning with my true purpose on this new moon in Pisces, my spiritual purpose. And I know that if I'm aligned with that, nothing will stand in my way, and what is to be mine will be mine. And surrendering what isn't. If it's not meant for me, surrender it. If I'm being tortured by something, surrender it. Very exciting couple of weeks coming up. This is a brief pause. And a lot of insights to come soon after. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. If you would like to book a reading, I am available for those. I will put my website right here, and it'll be down in the description box as well above the comment section. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and a share. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Talk to you soon.